Hey, what's up guys? Today I'm going to be going through my side deck tier list video for post DOOD, post ban list. I'm basically going through what I think the best cards to side are, and this will be for also YCS Will in Peru. And Anaheim, kind of. So starting off, we have deck lockdown. This card is bad. I don't think it's good enough against enough decks. I think it's bad against the Dracotail deck is bad against Yummy. It's only decent against Mitsurugi, and even against Mitsurugi, it's like there are better options. I mean, it's useful against some other rogue decks, but they're better options. So I don't think you should play it. But you could argue it's like lackluster. But I'll put it lackluster, but it's basically like bad. Sanctum, bad. Not going to explain it. This is Evaporation Dragon and Cartesia. So I put this here because I think it has potential. So not generically. This is specifically in Dracotail. I think you probably should side these cards in Dracotail, one of the two. We saw at the last YCS in NA in like Canada. Jesse Cotton sided Cartesia and Dracotail. I think the Dark Evaporation is a better side deck card. I think it's better going first than Cartesia for sure. It's worth to like Holy Sue, but Holy Sue's not a card anymore. So yeah, I think you should side this card in Dracotail. I think it increases your ceiling, which can sometimes be an issue, especially in this format where like the engines are so strong. It helps you play through interaction, and it's just really solid overall. So I like Evaporation. Also, it's like a lot of non-engine isn't even that good anyway. So moving on, we have Lightning Storm. I think this card is a card you should heavily consider. And going along with Lightning Storm, we have Harpy's Feather Duster, which I can find it. Here it is. These cards are really strong right now. I think they're really good against Mitsurugi, which is the main thing. Against Mitsurugi, they're really solid. Against Dracotail, they're not insane, but they like at least like force the Flame Negate, which is honestly like for some decks that's like all they really want. If you can like get your spell through, you can break through the board of engine. So they're like decent to side, good enough to side against Dracotail as well. And against Yummy, they're actually not bad either. Depending on what build you're playing against, how much back row you expect your opponent to have. So I think they're really cards you should definitely consider. Mischief of the Gnomes, bad. Purification, I have a lot of random stuff here. Purification, I mean, if you're playing Mitsurugi, this card should be in your side deck for sure. Gravekeeper's Inscription. Gravekeeper's Inscription, if you don't know what this card does, basically it lets you lock your opponent out of graveyard effects. So I think this card is actually crazy right now. If you're playing a deck that doesn't really require the graveyard effects, like Yummy or like a Yugioh deck, this card goes really hard. The only thing is like some decks can't play it. Obviously, you can't play it in Mitsurugi, you can't play it in like Dracotail. But if you can, it's really solid. Also, it's really good against Moonlight too. So yeah, this card is nice. I mean, it has other effects too, by the way, but the other effects are kind of like, you know, so. Oh, I've got Evaporation here twice. Oops. Ultimate Slayer is not very good in my opinion. It's not really good against Yummy. I mean, you can like remove Arclight, but it's not really a good synchro you can send. Like Malong has to target a face-up card, and all the rest of their board like dodges, so it's not good against Dracotail or the I mean, against Dracotail, it's not the worst thing in the world. So against Dracotail, you can like send a fusion, and then if you send Entis, and then you can Entis pop a card, and like Flame Negate doesn't matter there. So honestly, against Dracotail, it's actually kind of okay, but against the other decks, it's not great. I could see a world where you did play it if you had like a ton of extra deck space, because like you could flex into multiple different targets. I could see a world, but it's not something I would probably play. But depending on your deck, you could play it. Tikaboo, I think Tikaboo's heavily considered because it's just so good against Yummy. It's not really great against that many other decks. I mean, it's not really good against Mitsu. It's not good against Dracotail. It's good against Lunalight. But yeah, I think I would definitely heavily consider playing this card. The only issue with it is that it's not good against that many decks, but against like the most represented deck Yummy, it's like crazy. Call by, I think you honestly should be maining Called By, but if you're not, it 100% should be in your side deck. This card is crazy this format. You good against like all the decks, and good against so many decks going second as well. Called By is a very good Yu-Gi-Oh card right now. And even though like some non-engine you can't hit with Call By, like Imperm, Purge, Impulse, common non-engine this format, you can Call By engine. Like let's say maybe you get Impulse by Mitsurugi and you get stopped. Okay, sure, you can't Call By that, but Call By might like Call By on Saji might just like completely stop their turn. So pretty good. DB Crow, I think DB Crow is a bit lackluster. Its only use for DB Crow is, I'll put in potential actually. I think that it's not good against Yummy, it's not good against Dracotail. It's okay, it's decent, it's solid against Mitsurugi and against like Lunalight, rogue stuff like that. So there's a world where depending on what you're looking for your side deck, you could side it. So I would keep an eye out for that. DDG, this means good against Dracotail, but I mean, don't play it. Lancia, I'm gonna put Lancia in lackluster. I mean, technically it's useful against Lunalight. So some people are thinking about playing because of that. Personally, I would play other cards instead of Lancia, so for Lunalight. So I don't think it's good, but you know, it's like playable. Solemn Strike, this card is bad. It's just because like it's super duper bad. It's a Dracotail, and then to Yummy and Mitsurugi if they start with like Ritual, it's also kind of poor. Judgment though I think is crazy right now because unlike the Strike, it actually can stop the fusion spells against Dracotail. It's better against Mitsurugi. It's just a really solid card overall. Better against Yummy. A really solid card overall. Especially because a lot of people are on board breakers right now too, or some board breakers anyway. But taking the rest, card is lackluster. I mean, it's like okay versus Mitsurugi, but against the other decks, it's not really that good. So it's here because you probably wouldn't play it just because it's only a good going first card against one deck, and there are better options, which we'll get into in a second. Black Goat, I think is something you should heavily consider. If you're playing Thrust, you basically play Black Goat. Black Goat is insane against Yummy. It's not good against every deck though. So against Yummy, you call Snatchy. It's not good against the Mitsurugi deck, and it's not good against Dracotail. So that's why you should be playing other targets alongside Black Goat. But the Black Goat is definitely worth it. Also, if you're playing Thrust, you have the option to like, if you're playing a deck that's, so like some of the decks that play Thrust, are like Lunalight for example. Lunalight also plays Burial Goods, so like Burial Goods with Black Goat works pretty well. But yeah, Metatronus, I think Metatronus has potential. There are some ways you can utilize this card. So the first way you can utilize it is obviously in the Yummy Mirror. Also, if you're playing a deck like Yummy Mitsurugi, you can utilize it a lot there. So I think it's really cool. So I think the card definitely has potential. But it's also like mainly, it doesn't really have the wide range, so it's kind of fighting for its space with other cards. Next we have D-Barrier. I think D-Barrier is a card that should 100% be in your side deck. This card is crazy right now. Good against Yummy, good against Dracotail, good against Mitsurugi, good against Lunalight. You know, that's what else can you ask for? I mean, it's not going to be insane against some of the random like K9 decks. I mean, calling XYZ isn't the worst, but against you could potentially fight it against some of the, like the K9 Crystron deck, but it's not as good. But yeah, Solemn Warning is better than Strike, but it's worse than Judgment. I'll just put it in lackluster. I think they're better going first cards to play, so that's why it's in lackluster, like D-Barrier and Solemn Judgment. Contact C is bad. Contact C against Yummy is basically like, do they have the card in the extra deck? And with the extra deck space that Yummy has post like list, they will be playing cards in it. They will be probably playing something in the extra deck to link it off. So I think the Contact C is not very good against Yummy at the moment. Dragons, I don't even know why it's here, bro. I mean, those decks they're terrible. They're dog shit. Yeah, whatever. Meows is probably lackluster against Yummy. It's decent. I mean, it's at least like an upstart sometimes too. Against Mitsurugi, it's actually like not that bad. I think it's overrated against Mitsurugi though. I'm not gonna lie. People are like, oh yeah, against Mitsurugi, Meowth is crazy, but it's like, bro, like, not really. Like, come on, dude. Like what? But yeah, I don't think it's that great. Oh, but with thing like Habakiri, it's at least like an upstart. Against Mitsurugi is like whatever, sure. But I wouldn't side it though. There's better cards than an upstart. Like you playing it for an upstart is only relevant if like it's insane against one deck, and then you just like kind of side it in against other decks just because you already have it in your side deck. But Mouse is the same play against Lunalight. They don't really give you a Meow Shawl until they already start like playing, like fusion summoning and shit like that. So the card's bad. Featherstorm, lackluster. I mean, you could potentially play it with like a rank 1 and Yummy, or like the level 3 Wind Colossus, Wind Mist Valley Synchro, whatever. But it's not better than D-Barrier. Joel is something you should heavily consider for the Mitsurugi matchup. I think it's one of the best cards in that matchup. And against random rogue stuff like all the K9 decks. I say all the K9 decks. It's really just K9 Crystron, maybe Pure. But yeah, so definitely a good card in the side deck in my opinion. Simul Archfiend, this card is terrible. I'm not going to go into a depth why it's terrible, but all the decks can play around it super easily. Play through it rather. Chaos Hunter, unplayable. Bell is a heavily considered because it's used against Yummy and Dracotail. But against Yummy though, it's not like a card that's like you side it in and you just like auto win against their board. Because you drew Bell, you kind of have to have a decent engine as well, so it does depend on what deck you're playing. But I think Bell is really solid in the side deck, and obviously against Dracotail, Bell is nice because you can stop the trap cards, which are the deck's main form of interaction. Bystials, I think Bystials have potential. With Mitsurugi coming back into the meta, Bystials are going to be really good against that as well. And Bystials are not bad against Yumi either, especially if you're playing a deck that has synergy with Bystials. And then obviously Lunalight is like a rogue deck right now as well, so Bystials against Lunalight are going to be pretty decent. Moving on, we have Salesman. As a board breaker card, Salesman's okay. What do I want to put Salesman? I don't think it's good against, it's like Salesman, the type of card, like it's kind of useful against like everything, but it's like mid against everything. So I feel like I put it in lackluster. It doesn't feel like it's high impact in like anything it does, but it has like its use in like every matchup or a lot of matchups. Shifter, I'm gonna put in 100% of your side deck. If your deck can play Shifter, you should be at least siding Shifter. I think it's solid against Yumi, but it's good against Dracotail, really good. And then against some of the rogue decks like Lunalight, it's also gonna be crazy. So if your deck can play Shifter, should be siding it in my opinion. Triple Tactics Talents and Triple Tactic Thrust. These cards are what are these cards? Thrust is weird because like if your opponent draws board breakers, it's like, oh, you can't even thrust. Or if you play against like Yumi and they like use an Imperma Purge, you can't thrust. Or Mitsurugi Impulse, you can't thrust. I think thrust is not bad. I kind of like thrust in Yumi, but I wouldn't side thrust. I'd only keep it in if you're maining it. Because yeah, I think there's better cards to side, like I said. So for a side deck tier list, I'm putting these cards here. Too many non-waste to play. Yeah, I'm putting these cards here. Crossout, I think Crossout has potential depending on the deck you're playing. I would not, and I'm gonna be straight up with this. Do not keep in a Molcharmi for Crossout. That is fucking terrible. That is terrible. Oh my, people, do not do that. Please do not do that. But yeah, moving on, Raigeki. It's playable against Yumi. That's pretty much it. And I can do better cards against Yumi going second. So, nope. Kurikara, nope. Goes in match. No Vanquish Flow anymore. Nope. Same thing, the Rivalry. Nope. Skill Drain. I'll talk about Skill Drain real quick. Skill Drain's lackluster. It's playable against Yumi, but it's not good against Dracotail. It's not good against Mitsurugi, so it's a bit weird. And for a card like that, there's just better slots, right? D-Barrier is better. Black Oat's even better, potentially. But yeah. She just moves to back removal. Because also you have to keep in mind, people are going to be playing Lightning Storm and Feather, so these Floodgates will lose to back removal, whereas a card like D-Barrier does not lose to back removal. So there's that. Crush Card Virus got a lot worse. No Vanquish Soul. Bam, do not play this card. Ketu, I think Ketu is a really good board breaker going second against Dracotail and going second against Mitsurugi. Less so against Dracotail because they have the Flame Negate, but you know me forcing Flame, right? I think on my last side deck tier list, I put Ketu as like a potential you could splash this card in other decks, and I still think that you could splash this card in other decks. So I'm gonna put in potential. Like this card resolving against Mitsurugi is like crazy. The only thing you have to worry about is like Purification and then the Fossil Dyna. But outside of that, it's chill. And speaking of Fossil Dyna, this card should 100% be in your side deck if you're playing Mitsurugi. It helps your end board a lot, which I think you need to help with your end board because certain I think like a good Dracotail hand can probably crack your shit potentially. Moving on, we have Ghost Reaper. Card is terrible. Card was only decent versus Yumi if you had a lot of other hand traps with it, but I think hand traps like Valor and shit get a lot worse, so not great. Phantasme, I think Phantasme is pretty solid against Yumi. Especially because like the way a lot of decks want to win against Yumi isn't just by like hand trapping them to death, or using like non-engines to stop them, because you can't really do that against Yumi. It's very, very hard. But Phantasme has a bit more use because you can also draw into like strong engines. So I like Phantasme. I think it's really solid. And yeah, but it's only really good against that deck for the most part. So that's why it's not like higher up. Pankratops, I mean, it's playable versus Yumi, but it's funny because when the format first started, before it came out, like the set, Justice Hunters, people were like, oh, Pankratops is crazy. But like in practice, Pankratops just isn't that good, just because if they're able to play, they end on so many bodies that like you can't really get much value out of your Pankratops. And like even hitting like a back row is bad. Like you can like attack something. Sure, I have so many other bodies. What you kill doesn't matter because all my bodies kind of do the same thing. And you pop my surprise, sure, you surprise something back. I still got value out of my surprise. So Pankratops is a bit lackluster because of that reason. Retaliating Sea, I think Retaliating Sea is pretty decent. It's decent against Dracotail. It's nice against Lunalight as well, which is one of the reasons why I have it at decent and not lower. Because it's useful against multiple decks. Wosu, if you're playing Mitsurugi, you should 100% side Wosu. Lunalight's in the meta now, so you gotta be worried about that. Clockwork Knight, if you're playing Chris K9 Crystron, 100% side Clockwork Knight. If you're not maining it, but probably side it. While Yummy's a deck, you should 100% be playing it. You can do something cool because like this card, when it's in the graveyard, you can like banish it to search an Earth Machine, if I'm not mistaken. So I think like Yassine sided it. I mean, Yassine played like Foolish Burial Goods at his like top 4 YCS finish, and he was doing that to like Scrap Recycler sometimes too. Keep in mind, Naroi is also an Earth Machine, so you can search that as well. I mean, they're both normal summons, but yeah. And I already went through this, and yeah, that's it. So yeah, so that's it for my side deck tier list. I hope you enjoyed. If you take anything from this video, if your deck can play Gravekeeper's Inscription, side this card. D-Barrier, side the card. I had these cards in my top 5 like tech cards for the format, like D-Barrier and Gravekeeper's Inscription, and I 100% like think that's the case. Yeah, so your side deck's probably like Inscription, D-Barrier, Bell, Lightning Storm, Feather Duster, and then something else. That's what a lot of side decks are looking like right now, if you're not maining Bell already, because a lot of people are also maining it. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more content, and let me know in the comments if you agree with my list, or if you think I missed a certain card that you think is crazy, that you're like, well, actually, Vexen, you missed this card. This card is the actual true broken card of the format. But yeah, anyway, I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and take care. Oh, also real quick, I forgot to mention it, but I think Psyframe Delta is also a very good side deck card this format, or decent, because of its use against Mitsurugi. I would probably put it somewhere in potential, but yeah, I just forgot to mention that.